Welcome back to the Shankly Sessions, folks. The first preview of the new season, Chelsea versus Liverpool at the Bridge this Sunday. Super Sunday, 4:30. Um, Tough preview to do, isn't it, considering the last 24 to 48 hours. Woke up this morning early enough, about 5:30, 5:45, to the good news that we had absolutely done a mad one. Bid at 111 million for Caicedo. Deal agreement in place. Player travelling for a medical. Medical hopefully to be completed today. Player get registered. Might be available for Sunday. And I arrive into work. Crazy stuff as content creators. I arrive into work. Put a bit of a video together on the way in about how excited I was that we were back, that we had done our midfield rebuild. We had put in place a midfield that could be there for nearly a decade. How exciting it was, Liverpool being serious again. And then I head into work. On the way from the car to work, I see this information coming through that he hasn't travelled for his medical, all this kind of thing, that he's having second thoughts, that there's an agreement in place with Chelsea, that he had agreed personal terms with Chelsea, we'd agreed terms with Brighton, and the whole thing was a fucking shit show. It was a mess. I don't know where to begin with this, really. I just, it's like the whole bottom falls out of your world, really, doesn't it? You go from, it's amazing as football fans how we go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in the blink of an eye, in a day, in an hour, in whatever it is. And it just leaves us in a strange position now, doesn't it? Because now we've kind of shown our hand. Everyone knows what we believe to be true, that we do have money, that we're awash with money, and that for whatever reason, be it the sales and the savings on the wages or the investment that was due to come in, or suddenly John Henry was walking down the corridors of Fenway Sports Group in Boston and he tripped over that war chest that he forgot that he hadn't sent over. Whatever it is, we know there's money there. Billionaires don't worry about millions. And this Caicedo thing has become a mess. And then before I just went live tonight, we find out that Chelsea are close to an agreement for Romeo Lavia as well. So all this talk going on today about FFP and, they couldn't bid over a certain amount and all this, that and the other. And we seen what happened with the Tyler Adams deal. And how, hey, I feel for that guy. I really feel for that guy. Let's take some comments. Come in here, folks. It's therapy time. It's therapy time here at the moment. Daz, big up, Daz. What's the crack, Niall? How are you, Daz? I hope you're absolutely as well as you can be today. Brian, what's happening, mate? Good to see you there. Panoff, big up, Niall. Absolutely. Thanks for joining me tonight, lads, on this therapy session. It's a very, very strange one, Brian. Yeah, absolute shambles, isn't it? And the funny thing about this, Brian, is this is not, I suppose, where we could point fingers at FSG and not getting into the Caicedo conversation earlier. Chelsea basically been working on it for the whole summer, back and forth and stuff like that. So they were kind of married and attached at the hip at this stage. I think the problem this time is we tried to do sometimes what we do where we hijack a deal. And we've been so successful at it. So many examples, so successful. But this time doesn't look like it's going to work out. I don't know what your thoughts are in the comments from what you heard from Caicedo today, that he's happy if the financials are matched. He's happy to go to Liverpool. I don't know how you feel about that. It stinks of kind of mercenary. I don't know whether it's the guy himself. There's a lot of talk about his agent in the background. I know Jack and Spider Kev, they did a great show earlier, breaking it down and stuff like that. Kev was on this like an absolute hot snot. His information was brilliant earlier. Great show. Shout out to those boys as well. Brilliant show earlier. give us a different kind of slant on it and stuff like that. But it's a difficult one now because now we've kind of let Lavia know that he wasn't our number one target. Caicedo doesn't look like he's going to come. Everyone else knows we've 110 million sloshing around, plus more, I'd imagine. But it's a bad Friday. It's a bad Friday, and I was looking forward to coming on and doing the preview. Not necessarily because our rebuild has been such a shambles so far. I mean, we brought in the 2 players, but we're nowhere near what we should have done. But because football's coming back, you know what I mean? And it's always good to have it back, starting back tonight and all, Burnley, Man City and all. So it's exciting. And look, we have to do what we have to do, and that's it. Dust ourselves down and get on with it. We've a match at the Bridge. But it was telling this morning as well. I don't know how many of you caught the Klopp's press conference. Chelsea are passing us off by getting Lavia as well. Yeah, absolutely nailing it down. And it's Tyler Adams I feel for, really, you know, because he was looking at a good deal there where he was going and stuff like that, and that's being shelved. Dark Side of the Ring, Daz, is tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. I pushed it out. I just wanted to swap these around based on the news that was going down and stuff like that. So I'm going to do it tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Marty Giannetti. Bonkers. Chelsea are pissing us off by getting Lavia. In fairness, bonkers. Chelsea don't have to do a whole lot to piss people off. They're not the most likeable club in the world anyway. Yeah, it's worrying now, really worrying at this stage, where this is going to go. And the fear is, like a couple of other marquee signings that we've tried to do, when they don't happen, does the money just vanish? Does that 110 now not exist for some reason or another? And that's what's happened in the past. When Tchouaméni didn't happen, the money just disappeared. When Bellingham didn't happen, the money just seemed to look like it disappeared. And that's the fear at the moment, you know. So we've got to go out and we've got to try and fix this DM situation one way or another and find a fix for it, because it's been very worrying in pre-season when we've tried a number of players in there. Curtis was worrying. Trent on his own without a pivot was worrying. McAllister going in there creates its own issues. I mean, no doubt he can do the job, but is it really what we brought him in for? And what happens then, you know? So it's a lot to digest today. I have to say, I was on fire this morning. A couple of my mates on the thread that I have, the WhatsApp group, are Chelsea fans, and we were. I won't say I was going overboard. I wasn't going overboard, but certainly my excitement was felt. And by lunchtime, I couldn't get out and done today and work. I was just drained. I will put the Rampage card and SmackDown Collision Wrestling Chat and send them on to you as well. I know you're a gent, does really appreciate that. Brian, been following it, but there's a lot of details to it, isn't there, Brian? There's a lot of layers to this onion, isn't there? And it's weird, and I don't know what way this is going to come out. Big up, Bonkers. Hope you are well today. Absolutely. That's the main concern, Niall. If Caicedo doesn't come in with the money still, will the money still be spent this window? And that revolves around, and I don't know how you guys felt. I don't know if you looked at the presser this morning. I don't know if you watched the club presser or not. But when he was questioned on the Caicedo situation, he made it very clear. And I wonder, did he know something here? Because obviously, if Caicedo was going for a medical at that stage, he would have been either on the flight up or he would have already arrived. Because they'd like to get these things done, because the medical takes the guts of nearly a day. So if the plan was to have him registered and all by Sunday, this medical would have been kicking off fairly early in the day. So I'm sure Klopp was in the press conference, came across a bit agitated. And not agitated insofar as wanting to fire back at people. He didn't seem to want to talk about the deal, which leads me to believe that they were kind of aware that the player hadn't travelled at the time. And it was kind of like, it was like that not the same significance, of course, but it was like, remember when George Bush, remember when your man, the Secret Service guy, whispered into his ear and told him about the planes hitting the World Trade Center, and the kind of shock of it and stuff like that. No, I felt that kind of moment. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, it was as if Klopp knew there was going to be an issue and this wasn't going to be easy sailing. Because I think if it had been easy sailing, and that fecker Ornstein, of course, turned around and gone, personal terms with the player will be just a formality. And I'm just there going, you absolute bastard. Well, how that didn't turn out. Shout out to Dave Ornstein, of course. Uh, yeah, Brian. It was like an old school deadline day today, wasn't it? Yeah, but it kind of felt like excitement, Brian, and then it just diluted into nothing. It's like when you think you're getting a really good player with such a huge ceiling. And to think of that midfield that we would have had, that's a midfield you could have for a decade. All these guys are just incredible. Under Klopp, how good they would have been. Caicedo coming into play with his ex-teammate McAllister, that energy that Szoboszlai brings, all those different kind of factors. It was a marriage made in heaven, really, wasn't it? Like, it would have just fitted so well and stuff like that. And I think that's more the disappointment. Look, I mean, if you look on the face of it, does talk about the difference in the wages. There's talk about, I don't know, is there something like 100 grand or something in the difference in the wages? Say, for argument's sake, we don't know the detail, but the talk is we were going in with about 120, 150, and Chelsea are offering them 250 or something like that. How Chelsea do this, I do not know. Bonkers. I'm okay. Do we bid again even if Caicedo don't want us? Well, the player hasn't said he doesn't want us. He's kind of said his preference is Chelsea. He said he wants the Chelsea situation, but he said if Liverpool can match the financials and stuff like that, this stinks of agent greed as well, that he's happy to go play for Liverpool. I think at the end of the day, I think when you're dealing with professional sports people, you're going to have to take the sentiment and the romance out of it. I think if Caicedo was to come in as a Liverpool player and the Chelsea deal didn't happen, I think once he crosses that white line and signs that contract, he's going to be a Liverpool player and he'll be sensational for us either way. I think that's the kind of guy he is. Brian is spot on here. Brian's after coming in. Yeah, talk of greedy agents. Absolutely, that agent is renowned for it. John, big up. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. How do John Conway? And Daz is in. What would be your starting 11 on Sunday night? I'm going to get into that. Don't worry. I'm going to preview the game. And I have some thoughts on it as well. And you can let me know your thoughts in the chat, folks. Let me know what you think your lineup is going to be. It's worrying. It's interesting. It sets up quite a narrative, doesn't it? And it's perfect for Sky, isn't it? Because Sky love these kind of stories where you're going in and there's a bit of bite about it and all. Talk earlier as well, I think, I don't know whether you heard it or not, that John Henry had personally gotten involved in the deal as well with Brighton and stuff like that. And also, big up Panoff, big up John. Brian, before the window opened, my two top picks for Liverpool were Vardy and Caicedo. Exactly what we needed. Yeah. I have a thought on the back line, folks, in terms of what we could do. And I think it could turn out really good if we were to do it. I spoke about it today on that Caicedo one. I said even if we had signed Caicedo when I did that video this morning, which I took down, and it was a difficult day for content creators as well today because I had to take the video down because I was so gassed and so pumped about the signing. I thought it'd be just stupid to leave it up there, and it gotten views and all. But it's the first time in my history of content creating that I've had to create 3 thumbnails for the one video for this. I originally had, I think, Darwin up there with one of the Chelsea players. Then I redid it with Caicedo in the Liverpool gear. And Liverpool reloaded on it. You would have seen them if you're on the channel and stuff like that. And then I had to change it to what we have now. Liverpool unloaded and no Caicedo. Big up Daz. Big up John. Niall, what do you think of Liverpool's new tour kit? I think it's absolutely stunning, John. The purple one, the one that was on McAllister the other day. I think it's absolutely stunning. But I thought last year's goalkeeper, the purple one as well. It's very like that as well. I think it looks the business. I think in fairness, in truth, I was worried about the second kit, because the second kit just looked a little bit kind of Minecrafty to me, if you like. You're right, baby. It's the dog, the mascot. But yeah, the second kit. But I had a look at the second kit as well with the socks and the shorts and stuff like that when they played in it. Doesn't look too bad. It could grow on me and stuff like that. Either kit would have looked really, really nice with Shiseido on the back of it. But sure, what can you do, you know? Panov, I think the old days of loyalty are long gone. As long as they come in and give their all on the pitch, that's all you can hope for these days. Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it's all about the bag at the end of the day. And I think, let's be honest here, if any of us were to, pump up and tell the truth here, like, if you're offered a job for 150,000 and you're offered a job for 250,000, I'm both with a kind of a similar situation. I think we would be the better project for him, but I think that's too much money to pan away over a 4 or 5 year contract. I think he would have been sensational under Klopp. That's not to say that he won't be under Poch. I know that Chelsea are going to try and build something really special there as well, and bounce back. So we have similar issues in terms of our midfields and stuff like that, and also we shall see. But yeah, absolutely spot on, Panov. It's all about the bag these days, guys. John, big up Brian. Bonkers. Ali, Trent, Konate, Virgil, Robbo, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Diaz, Gakpo, Salah. Interesting. Bonkers. You ain't starting with Jota. You haven't started with Jota, and you're putting Jones. Are you putting Jones? Let me know, Bonkers. Are you putting Jones in the 6, or is McAllister going into the 6? Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm not too far off it either, but I had a slightly different slant on it. But let me know, Bonkers, what you think. Bonkers, that's the 11 I would go for too. Yeah, let me know, Panov, let me know who he's putting in the 6. Does Jones go in the 6 or McAllister? And then Jones would be in the 8. If that's what you're going for, let me know. I have a slightly different lineup, but not a million miles away in the same thinking. But we go through. He's going with Mac in the 6. Yeah, I went with Mac in the 6 as well. I'm not very comfortable with Jones being in the 6. The one thing I would say is, their midfield is in disarray as well, so that helps us quite a bit. We've kind of spawned into the kind of preview now somewhat, without even realising. But I suppose we should talk about the two situations with the two clubs, really. The Poch era begins. They've had a fairly decent pre-season, and they've done really well, and at times look really, really well. Just hang on there 1 second. I have to let the mascot out as well. Sorry about that. Yeah, they've looked really well in pre-season. The boy Jackson has looked like he could do bits. Obviously for them, it's when you run down through the team. Obviously they've a number of key players that have gotten injured, unfortunately. Wesley Fofana's after getting re-injured again as well. Feel sorry for the lad and stuff like that. And also Nkunku, who I was really looking to watch this season. But this game is a tough game that comes up as your first game of the season away at the Bridge. And then, of course, the narrative all around it over the last 48 hours, leading into it and stuff like that. And we know Sky is, just because it's a Super Sunday, Sky are just going to ratchet this up. And I think they might ratchet it up to the point. I think our gaffer's going to have to be really careful, because he takes these things really personal. Klopp does. When these things don't kind of go his way, there's a feistiness about him and stuff like that, and especially on the sideline. And we're going to see firsthand, especially tonight and tomorrow as well, but these new referee guidelines in terms of the added on time, in terms of the producing of cards. I looked at it there last week. I think it was for the Community Shield. They were whacking out cards. And I think that's going to be a concern as well. Players are going to have to be very, very careful. They're going to get carded for time waste and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to have to, it's going to be a bit of an adjustment, but over the next few weeks, you could see players picking up cards, and you certainly could see a high level of elevated red cards and stuff like that over the next few weeks, until it kind of settles down and they get a kind of a happy medium or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see, and especially how that goes tonight with Burnley versus Man City. That'll be interesting. But the Community Shield was the warning shot that was fired at us. And I know with Klopp getting so emotional about these things, he's going to have to really, I think Pep Linders has a big role this weekend in keeping Klopp kind of in check on the sideline, because he is going to be fucking steaming over all this. And especially with the news that's come out tonight as well, that not only is it Gashado that might fall apart, but also Lavia as well. So it's going to be interesting from that point of view. Daz, Allison, Trent, Ebu, Virgil, Robbo, McAllister, Dom, Harvey, Mo, Jota, Nunes, McAllister in the 6. McAllister in the 6, and you're starting with Harvey. Interesting. Jota, yeah. Nunes, Mo, Jota, and Nunes starting. Interesting. Big shout, Daz. Big shout. Not a bad shout at all, but a big shout. But yeah, and then for ourselves, I mean, largely we're kind of injury free. We know Thiago's on the way back from that injury. I don't know what the story is there, how long it's taken from that recovery, from that hip situation and stuff like that. I'm not too sure what the detail of it is, but he just seems to take a long time to recover from injuries these days. And I wonder, I know as light as we are, and we need to bring in reinforcements, and I think we will. I wonder, is it nearing time with him only having a year left on his contract? Are they going to set him loose? Let's see what happens. But yeah, and Stefan, of course, is on the way back as well. Both are going through their training cycles and stuff like that, so they probably miss out on this one. Big up, Henry. Hope you're fit. Well, I am. I'm as fine as I can be under the current circumstances. But yeah, we're largely no bother at all, Henry. Enjoy your live at 8. My friend, hope it goes well for you. But yeah, so it's a really difficult one. It's a huge season ahead for both clubs. A lot of fixing up to be done. Both clubs have a monumental drop off. Theirs was really bad in terms of where they finished, but ours, considering where we were on that quad year we put in last year, was just horrific, really. Leading us to Thursday night football. So if you look at their lineup, they're probably going to go with a 4-2-3-1. I think we're going to see the boy Robert Sanchez in nets for them, which may or may not be a good thing because he'll be fresh in there. But also he's a very good keeper. Reece James is going to be there. Interesting to see Reece James now captain of Chelsea as well. And we know that he kind of, he's still being carrying those injuries and stuff like that. So we wonder, has he shaken them off now? And we're going to get the original absolute baller that's Reece James, smashing player and stuff like that. And a great choice as captain as well. Thiago Silva's going to be in there with Levi Colwell. There's an interesting combination. The boy Colwell, of course, we were linked with trying to do a deal with fabulous player. Ben Chilwell, of course, in there. Enzo Fernandez, Andre Santos, Raheem Sterling, Carney Chukwuemeka, Mudryk, and Nicholas Jackson. So it's a strong lineup from Chelsea, and they'll want to put on a show for Super Sunday at the Bridge, of course, up against us. There is quite the rivalry there between both clubs, between the domestic trophies that year, and also down through the ages and all. There's always been quite a fractured rivalry there between Chelsea and Liverpool. For us, the lineup I'm going with, and again, let me know your thoughts. I'm not stringent in any way on it. I'm thinking of going with, I think the back five kind of picks itself. Again, the concern would be if Trent inverts in, that space that's occupied there, that Mudryk takes up, and then Robbo coming in as a central left, hasn't worked great for us. So I think what's going to happen on Sunday is with Trent, in this case, because we haven't fixed up everything we wanted to do in midfield and because we haven't got these deals across the line, I think he's going to have to be a bit more, a bit more careful in his positioning and stuff like that, and not to invert too quickly or open up that space there and expose Konate to the speed of Michaela Mudryk, because I think that's where we could be punished badly. So we need to be careful down that line. I'm going to put McAllister in the 6 because I don't think Jones in the 6 has worked for us. I think it's a stretch. I've gone with Gakpo in the midfield and Szoboszlai. And what that allows me to do, it allows me to get a lot of that kind of. Gakpo has been really, really good. I think even when he's dropped in as an 8 as opposed to a 9. But what allows me to do is play a front line then of Diaz, Jota, and Salah. And I think with Jota, you're going to need that kind of shithousery at times that he brings. He certainly is a man on a mission. He has a lot to prove this season. Said it himself. Has looked fantastic in pre-season. Salah, of course, who generally likes playing against Chelsea as well, and Luis Diaz. Again, it's an interesting time for Luis Diaz as well. I think it's been slightly pre-season has been a little bit in different form. At times he's looked absolutely brilliant. At times he's looked a little bit hesitant, maybe a little bit sort of leggy, a little bit kind of out of ideas a little bit and stuff like that. So that's what I'd be worried about there. And then Gakpo coming in from deep, I think, can be a threat as well. But definitely McAllister, the anchor in front of the back 4. Van Dijk is going to have to marshal his troops, obviously, in a big, big way. Captaincy coming in needs to be very verbal and on it at the moment. And so does Alisson. Alisson needs to act like that captain as well, constantly talking to his back line and stuff like that. But I think Trent, yeah, absolutely. Chilwell as well. Brian just mentioned it there. Yeah, Chilwell too, Niall. He's playing really high up in pre-season, left winger basically. They will make hay down Trent's side. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trent is going to have to be really, really careful in the way that he does things. Ali, Trent, Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Robbo, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Diaz, Gakpo, and Salah. Not bad, John. Not bad at all. And again, probably, are you going with Jones or McAllister in the 6? That's going to be probably the key question on Sunday. A lot of people I hear talking today are talking about Jones going into the 6. I think if Jones goes into the 6, I think we're going to have a real problem because I don't think he likes the physical side of tackling. I don't think that's where he's at his best. I think at his best is when the ball's in front of him, going forward and going by players and trying to create. I don't think the defensive side of his game and his tackling ability as a destroyer in the 6 really works. But again, let us know your thoughts. What do you think? And John's going for a 2-1 Liverpool win. We would take that all day, wouldn't we? A 2-1 Liverpool win. I've kind of conflicting ideas. Let me know, folks, your ideas on the scoreline as well. I've kind of conflicting ideas on the scoreline. This could be because of the 2 midfields and the situation. It's kind of all a bit sort of up in the air. And because Chelsea under Poch as well, we haven't really seen a whole lot of it in terms of being able to put together a game plan and all properly. A lot of it is pre-season. With some of it you can read into it, some of it you can't. It's very new for them as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think with the 2 midfields, I think we're going to get quite an open game. And because it's quite an open game, this could be a really big score draw. This could be a 3-3 or a 4-4 even. Who knows? Or it could end up being quite a dull affair, with Chelsea just kind of killing it, if you like, and stuff like that. Daz is in. Daz is going for a clean sheet and 2-0 to the Reds. That would be absolutely awesome, Daz. Panif is going for 3-1 to us. How great would that be, Panif? And Brian is going same team as John, McAllister in the 6. Yeah, I think are we universally saying, folks? Are we universally agreeing that looking at what we've seen in pre-season, McAllister in the 6 is the only solution? It's just a shame because I suppose the fear as well is McAllister in the 6 as well. Even in pre-season when we played him in the 6, because of the level of opposition that we were playing, he was still able to invert from the 6 into that forward midfield to do bits at times. But what happened was it did leave that big gaping hole and stuff like that. And we have to really be careful the way we move forward, the patterns in which we move forward in. We can leave a big opening in between the back forward and the midfield, or we can leave, we have to be careful if we are considering even attempting to play the high line. Like we said, the likes of Mudryk and stuff like that. If Trent inverted and the whole space down that side is open, Konate, against Mudryk, I would be a little bit concerned for, especially in the fact that Konate, being such a big physical kind of player, he likes to put his hands on people and stuff like that, and can easily give away free kicks or potentially penalties, and also get carded and stuff like that, because it doesn't sound like refs are going to put up on any much bullshit this season. That's for sure. So really have to be careful. Carver's in, big up lad. What a mad day it's been. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out as well, Carvo. I just started watching the Newcastle documentary. I'm about 40 minutes into the first episode. If anyone in the chat hasn't watched it, it's awesome. It's on Amazon. It's really cool. And I tell you, you know how we pride ourselves with our fan base and stuff like that. If you look at the clips from the fans outside St. James's Park when the takeover was announced, you'd grown elderly men there in tears. That's how much it meant to them and stuff like that. And I love that. And if you follow the podcast and you follow our general football podcast, not just the Shankly sessions, stuff like that, you know how I big up those Newcastle fans and stuff like that. And it's their religion. It's their religion, and you can see it. And the short clips and stuff, Carver, from the owner, the head boy of PIF or whatever it is. I can't remember what his name is now, but he sounds absolutely brilliant as well. I love the way he was talking about how, like, he was asked, does he make any involvement in the team decisions and stuff like that? And he said no. So if I do that, I may as well just sack the people who are doing it. He says, I'm the chairman, I'm top level and stuff like that. No, but you can see he's stoked to be involved and stuff like that. This is not like just money from a distance, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Really enjoy it. Look forward to it. And look, Eddie Howe is just a great guy. There's no doubt about it. Brian's in. Season just kicked off. We go again. Absolutely, lads. Brilliant, and best of luck in the season to everyone. I hope we have a brilliant season. I hope some of my thoughts and thinking of what might happen doesn't happen. I hope I'm proved wrong, and I hope I don't have to go through a lot of these difficult previews and match reactions and player ratings. We will be back on Sunday with a match reaction and player ratings, as we always do. Daz, I don't know who this new commentator is on Sky Sports, but he's with Jamie. Yeah, they put a new guy in, all right. Panov, yes, bro, yeah, absolutely kicked off. It's so exciting, isn't it, when the football's back? From that documentary, we're going in the right direction. The future's bright, absolutely. 100%, Corva. 100%. Looked really good. Right, predictions for Sunday. I'd like to be as positive as you guys, and I hope we absolutely rinse them, and I hope we win. I hope Klopp has these boys fired up over the shenanigans and antics of today as well. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. We've had a difficult time on the road last season, which is really tough. And I'm not too sure whether we've done enough in the rebuild to change that. Maybe not. Carver, from that documentary, yeah, we're going the right ways. Peter Drury, Brian, yeah, Peter Drury, I think, yeah, absolutely sincere. What a commentator. The joys of not having to listen to the other lad this season and to be able to listen to Peter Drury and Desmond, yeah, absolutely. Right, folks, that's it for the preview. That's my thoughts on today. Tough day for us. I'll just let you know the betting. Chelsea are 7-4. The draw is 5-2, and Liverpool are 11-8. So Liverpool are marginally the favourites in this one, which is surprising considering our away form last season. So let's see what happens. Brian has come in with a 2-2. Yeah, I'd give Anton for a win on Sunday now, just to kick it off and get us going, get 3 points on the board, and see what we can do over the next week in terms of players and stuff like that. Before, I think it's Bournemouth then up next, isn't it? Bournemouth the following Saturday. Folks, thanks for joining me as always. Please subscribe to all the channels in there as well. Give everyone a like and share. Follow them on Twitter and all the socials and everywhere that you find them. Continue to subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell notification, of course. Drop a like on the video. Share the content. And we will be back tomorrow night with a bit of pro wrestling. And no doubt I'll be putting out little shorts during the day and stuff like that. The first one back and stuff like that. And then Sunday night I'll be back. We'll do a match reaction and player ratings for the first game of the season. And hopefully it's positive for the Reds. Really appreciate you, Panov, Brian, everyone coming along. Daz, Corvo, everyone. Best of luck with the new season. I hope it delivers everything that we hope and wish for. Hopefully we fix up fairly soon and get some players in the door. they can't hide the 110 million now. We know they have it, so they can't lie to us anymore. No more of this that we've no money. Pan office going 1-0 to City already. Let me guess. Tell me it's Haaland, is it? See you tomorrow for Dark Side of the Ring, Noel. Yeah, absolutely, Daz. You will 100%. Talk to you soon, folks. Cheers.